There goes Jeff. I've called this route the Bakewell Loop. 50 miles from Bakewell back through to Bakewell, going to Monash and then up to Millersdale, where they've converted the railway station into a lovely tea room and walks. I'm going to do this one very quickly because I've got so much to pack in today. From Millersdale to Tideswell, Cathedral of the Peak, another very interesting village, and then heading up to Sparrowpit on the main road to Manchester, where we turn right and follow a route through very hilly country to Winnats Pass and then to Castleton for lunch. From Castleton through Hope Valley to Hathersage, turn right in Hathersage and take the road through to Eyam, the plague village. Sounds very grim, fascinating. From Eyam we head off to Chatsworth. Now Chatsworth is wonderful, as everybody knows, so we'll have a little tour of Chatsworth before taking the road back in the final part of the loop to Bakewell. Enjoy it. It is a great route. This is Bakewell on a Monday morning, market day. Today Jeff is joining me on the route, and we agreed to meet in this car park, and it is closed. Market day makes such a difference. Packed. Now this bridge we're coming up to is like that one in Paris, and I suppose a few places now, full of locks. Get the idea. Hiya. And there is the pudding, the original mistake in the recipe, a secret recipe, the pudding shop. The Rutland Arms Hotel over the road, right in the centre. And here's Jeff waiting for me. The queue going into the market is going forever. Hiya, Jeff. Oh dear.
Morning, sir. How are you?
I'm worn out before I start. So that's Millersdale. We'll go under the bridge now. You can see the old railway bridge, and right next to it another one. That's how popular it was. And the abseil off that, school children, everything, famous abseiling point, fantastic to watch them. Very tight corners. But wonderful biking roads, aren't they? Tideswell, the Cathedral of the Peak. This is the church, which is presumably why it's called Cathedral in the Peak, because it's so big. And main road here. God, look at that canal boat on a lorry. Beautiful. I think those signs say it all, don't they? And we're heading to the Blue John Cavern. So we turn right here, which is right on the bend. This is again another very nice biking route. Stunning scenery, isn't it? Now this is where I've made an error, because I've got us going right on the route down Winnats Pass, but I'm going to go off route a little bit to go to Blue John Cavern. Now Blue John is a fluorspar. It's a mineral that is up to this moment not found anywhere else in the world. It's so rare. You can go down this cavern. So that's the Blue John mine. Beautiful road. Look at the cragginess of this gorge, Winnats Pass. And this comes down into one of the prettiest villages in the peak, Castleton. There goes Jeff. I do like following Jeff. His lines are perfect. And this is Speedwell Caverns. You go, I think it's 400 feet down, and you take a boat in a canal right underground, and the boat takes you through to a massive lake. So that's some experience. Yep, we claim that as our parking space. I don't know whether it is for bikes, but we always park here. A lovely meal in Castleton. You get a view of Castleton as we go through. cafes everywhere and hotels. Very pretty. So this road goes through the Hope Valley to Hathersage. This is Hope, cafes all the way along. Booked a week at the John Shuker guitar makers course. John Shuker, quite a famous, very, very good guitar maker. Very expensive guitars, but every now and then he does a week's course for 3 people at a time. And I joined to make a new bass guitar. Arrived on the Monday morning. It's just up here, an estate on the left. This road here, I think. Yeah, industrial estate. It's a little industrial unit just up that road just there. You'd never know it. There's no sign up or anything. And on a Monday morning I arrived and John has already glued together the actual body of the guitar and the neck. That's all he's done. And you have to do everything. The only thing he does is spray it with a seal or a varnish. Under his instructions you do everything. I didn't realise it was as intense as that. And it's 8-hour days, 9 o'clock start every morning for 5 days, and you at 5 o'clock on Friday you go home with, well, the best guitar, bass guitar I've ever had. Unbelievable, incredible guitar. What a life experience that was. It was really good, even if I hardly play it now. So here we are in Bamford. This is about one of the only 60-mile-an-hour roads, I think, in the Peak District now. Nearly everywhere is 50 mile an hour, but this is 60 for a little bit anyway. Now roadworks. You can see Froggatt Edge right on the horizon there, one of the famous edges that climbers love. Come from everywhere to do those vertical climbs. Now we're back to 60, but only for a little bit. Hathersage is again a very nice village, quite a few restaurants and lots of outdoor shops in Hathersage, maybe because of the climbing right there in front of us. There's also an incredible cutlery factory, believe it or not, David Mellor design, in an award-winning round factory. So if you come here, don't forget Little John's grave in the church on the way out, and also right here is the David Mellor factory. But also Hathersage has an all year round outdoor swimming pool, heated all year round. It's very popular. You can see a picture of the swimming pool there on the board. So the outdoor swimming pool on the left up there, where that car's coming out, and you'll see the David Mellor factory just here around the corner. Round factory, if you can see it there, incredible looking. And you can go and visit them, making all sorts of quite incredible cutlery. Our next stop is the plague village of Eyam. That sounds awful, doesn't it? The plague of 1665 or 6 or something like that was in London. This is 300 years after the Black Death wiped out millions of people. but 300 years later it returned. It was only in London that a bale of cloth came from a London tailor, and they believe it had fleas in it with the plague. And Eyam is famous because they recognized the problem and they totally isolated themselves. So imagine COVID, keeping social distancing, no vaccines, no healthcare really, and the people in Eyam isolated the village, totally cut it off. Nobody was allowed to leave, nobody entered. But they stopped it spreading everywhere else in the land. So what a sacrifice they made. So when we think of COVID restrictions and COVID social distancing and everything, it's not new. So Eyam's a very interesting village, but for the wrong reasons, of course. It's very sad. So many families died, but because of the diligence of people in Eyam, they kept the plague just to the village itself. Road closed 1 mile ahead. That's the route I was supposed to take, right there. So if you're following this route, you should turn right there, but the road is closed. So we're going to have to stay on the main road to get to Eyam. So we can turn right here to go to Eyam this way. This is Stony Middleton. It was mainly this village back in the days of the plague that kept Eyam supplied in food and necessities without making contact with them. These are the famous plague cottages. Oh, the third victim he was. Nine members of the Thorpe family had lived and died here, 1665. First plague victim died on 7th of September 1665. Oh, you see Eyam Hall very well now. Well, that was Eyam in all its glory. And there's a museum there that is fascinating, if not a bit grim. All about the plague, of course. So we're now heading to Chatsworth House, one of the most busy tourist destinations, certainly in Derbyshire, but a big favourite in the UK. So now let's go down to Chatsworth. Beautiful location, beautiful house. You can't come to Derbyshire and not go around Chatsworth House. That must seem like the longest 50 miles in ever, but very enjoyable. So back in Bakewell, thanks for sticking with me on this route, really appreciate it. Don't forget to hit subscribe and the like button, really enjoyed doing it. Now look out for the next one. I'll see you next time.